So let's now manually deploy the Forkify project to an amazing and free hosting service called Netlify. But before we can do that, we now need to create the final bundle of our application by running this build command. So up until this point, we have always used the start command here, but that only works for development because the final output will actually contain the development server, and also the code is not being compressed and that code is not being eliminated while in development. All right. So let's open up our terminal. And so here we still have our start command running. And so let's finish that now by hitting Command C, or actually Control C. And alternatively, you can also simply kill this terminal by clicking this button here. All right. So right now we no longer have our development server running, and Parcel is now no longer automatically creating the build as we save our application. And so now we are ready to run this build command. But before, let's actually delete this Parcel cache folder and or dist folder as well. So I like to delete these in order to basically get a fresh start. Now this build command here is actually not yet complete, because in the build command we actually need to manually specify that we want our output to be here in the dist folder. Okay, and so if you're on version 2 of Parcel, like I am, okay, so in that case specify the dist dir option. So --dist dir, which stands for distribution directory, basically. And then we need to specify the folder that we actually want to be created. And so just like before, let's call that the dist folder. Now, what's also very important is that here we need to change from main to default. So very important, otherwise this build command will not run in Parcel 2. So again, change this main here to default. And I believe that this is actually because of some bug that currently happens in the beta 1 version of Parcel 2. But never mind, with that, we actually fixed that problem. Now, if you are using Parcel 1 for some reason, then here instead of dist directory, it is called out directory. So like this. But again, that is only if you are on version 1 of Parcel. And so now this command here is ready for us to execute it. So npm run build, and then let's wait for it. So as always, it takes some time here, but when it's done, we are ready to then deploy the folder that was just created to our Netlify service. And here it is. And now it contains the final code compressed and ready to be shipped. Okay? Now, if you got any error during this build process while you're using Parcel 2, then please make sure that you really set this default here. And also make sure that everything here is correctly spelled like this. But if the problem still persists, then it might be a good idea to downgrade to Parcel 1. And so you would do that with npm uninstall like this. And then after that, you would install it again at version 1 like this. And so that should then work. And remember that in that case, here it is out dir and not dist. And also you would have to go to all your views and change the way you import the icons. So you would have to remove this part here. Okay, so wherever you import the icons, if you're using Parcel 1, remember you have to take out this part. Okay, but then after everything is done, and once you have this dist folder, we are ready to go to Netlify and actually deploy this. So let's go back to our browser and here I already have netlify.com open. Now, Netlify is a free service that lets us developers basically deploy static web pages or static web applications. And with static, we mean that the application only contains HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files, as well as some images, but no database or no server-side code at all. All right? So basically, Netlify only works for front-end applications like the one that we just built. So Netlify is really an amazing service. It's extremely easy to set up and to use. It has a very generous free plan, and it contains a lot of great features that you can also use for free. And one of these features is called continuous integration with Git, which we will use a bit later in this section. And I'm telling you all these great things about Netlify, not because I'm sponsored by them, not by any means. It's simply because I really, really love this service. It's just fantastic. Now, if you need something even more simple, without even having to open an account, you can also use this search service, which is also free, and it's even easier. So here you don't have to create an account, and you can simply npm install search on your computer, and then once you're in the folder you want to publish, so you want to deploy, all you have to do is to run the search command. But anyway, we will now use Netlify in this section, and so if I convinced you that it's worth using it, then please go ahead now and sign up for your free account. Now, of course, I already have my account, and so I will wait here until you're ready. Okay, and so this is how it should look like once you log in into your Netlify account. Now, it might have changed some time after I recorded this video, but in general, this should be kind of what it looks like. So you see, I already have a lot of sites here. So basically, that's all the demo projects that I have been showing you. And so, again, for that, I use Netlify because it's so easy. And speaking of easy, let me now show you how easy it actually is to quickly and manually deploy or forkify a project. So let's go to our project folder here. So this one right here. And then we take the dist folder, because that's the folder that we want to deploy. So our build that we just created. And then we take that folder and we simply drag and drop it here into the interface and drop it there. And that's it. Our page is now deployed. So you see how easy that was. So we get this page here with this random name that we can click on, and this is our web page, and now everyone can see it. So it's now in fact deployed on this live server on this URL. Now this is not ideal though, so this random URL, and so we can click here on site settings and change the name of our site. So come down here and then change site name. Okay, and so I'm calling this Forkify-Jonas. And you can then go ahead and call yours Forkify and then with your name. And of course, this name has to be unique, and so just make sure that you're using some unique name. All right, now we can click here again, and now our domain name here makes a bit more sense. All right, and that's actually it. So this is how easy it really is. But the great thing about Netlify is not only that it's easy, but as I mentioned before, also some of the great features. And one of them is that automatically our page is now secured with an SSL certificate. So if we check out the URL, you see that it actually is HTTPS, right? And all of that is automatically included for free in our account. And another thing that's great is that all our site assets, so all the files that we just deployed, were in fact deployed to a so-called Content Delivery Network, or CDN. And that means that instead of uploading the files only to one server in one location in the world, our site now actually lives in many locations, so in many servers spread out across the entire world. And so then when a user is trying to access our page, they will then get the version from the server that is closest to them. And so this will then greatly speed up the delivery time of your page or your application. So again, a lot of great features, really easy to use. And yeah, that's why I recommend Netlify to everyone. And I'm demonstrating all this using the Forkify project, but of course, it will work the exact same way for any other project that you might want to deploy. So as long as it is a static project, this is how it works. But anyway, this is how we deploy a project manually to Netlify. However, there's also a better way. So basically a way which allows us to automate the process of deploying the application. And for that, we will need something called version control and Git. And so let's take a look at that in the next video.